Morning, friends. My name is Nilesh Desai. I am from Hyderabad. I was an entrepreneur for 39 years, and last 4 years I am working for revival of SICK MSME unit. To give you an idea, in India, as on today, we have got 6.3 crore MSME employing about 13 crore jobs. That means about 52 crores.
क्योंकि अभी यहाँ पे ज्वाइन दिखा रहा है, अभी शशांक ने ज्वाइन किया है, तो बाकी जब ज्वाइन करेंगे then we'll start.
So again, now to repeat.
अभी I'll tell you.
Everybody can join, no?
अगर earphones नहीं है just mute it. Mute करके देखना.
इसका वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग
हो जाएगा. ज्वाइन किया गया? It's not showing you. यहाँ पे दिखा नहीं रहा.
We have already joined videos coming to us. We are able to see the live.
अच्छा, comment. ऐसे बार आएगा.
Comment आ गए.
हाँ ठीक. Okay. I see there's सबका comments.
Shall I start now? Good morning, friends. Welcome to this webinar. I am Nilesh Desai from Hyderabad. I am working for revival of Sikh MSME unit for last 4 years, and I was an entrepreneur for 39 years. I am a metallurgical engineer, and when working on my own unit in my life twice, I had a sufferings because of various reasons. That is why the idea has come. There is a lot of potentiality for reviving Sikh MSME units. To give you size of the market, India has got 6.3 crore MSME employing 13 crore jobs, creating 13 crore jobs next to agriculture only. That means 52 crore lives are depending on MSME. Banks and institutional finance to this MSME is roughly 25 lakh crores. Out of that, 1 lakh crore is in NPA. But roughly 1 crore jobs are at stake. In last 4 years, I could convince Nalsar University and Telangana Chamber of Commerce to come in and join us for this movement. And we have signed an MOU to develop sustainable ecosystem for revival of Sikh MSME unit. And in the that was done about in 2017 April. So that is about 2 years back. And the reasons for sickness are many, external and internal. But external circumstances like demonetization may have affected some sickness, change in government policy, but major problem I feel as an entrepreneur is when we start the MSME, we will have to redefine the definition of MSME. Can we say MSME as myself, my enterprise? That is, which means that whatever I earn or make wealth out of it is mine. And keeping that in view of pride, which I find it is misunderstood by many, and they from 1969 when banks were nationalized, this problem of sickness is continuously cropping up in the mind of Reserve Bank of India, central government, state government, and various state and central government has come out with various policies so that jobs can be retained. It has ultimately served partially the retention of the jobs, but the basic problem is Reserve Bank, central government and state government, they are trying to restructure the debt side of the component. While the unit becomes sick, the equity is getting eroded. It is a well-known fact that a lot of manipulation happens when we start MSME unit. Though the debt equity ratio is 3:1, many malpractices are happening to bring the margin money, which is starting a starting a unit on weak platform. Second thing is, while financing in the initial stages, government to encourage MSME come out with a lot of incentives, but that incentive release will take sometimes in many years. So I suggest that government, whosoever government is there, they should upfront this subsidy rather than back-end subsidy. In our education system, we have got primary education, secondary education, and college education. And in primary education, two people can take care of a child, that is parents and a teacher. And in secondary education, teacher and parent. In college, it is teacher only will take care of MSME and take care of the student. Here, if we consider government as a parent, there is no teacher, so that the entrepreneurs does not get handholding support or a guidance like what we have got in primary education. That is, if that kind of system with roughly 50 years of MSME birth, a lot of entrepreneurs who have practically retired can hold few units, that will create a system for this thing. Though various organizations like BYST is trying to create that kind of infrastructure, but voluntarily a lot of people can come and help so that this prevention can be done. When we were working on revival, we have invested our funds. First, we started with the debt kind of funding, and we realized that debt kind of funding will not help. So we came out with an idea of equity kind of funding, and as 80-85%, 90% units are proprietary and partnership company, we have to convert into a private limited company with help of company secretary. And there is no much understanding much understanding of financials in the entrepreneur. If the entrepreneur can keep the balance sheet as desired by law, the problem of sickness can be reduced, as the balance sheet gives about 52 various kinds of ratios, and each ratio is critical, which can give an indication of correction. That kind of services we are offering free of cost to all my MSME friends. We have invested in 3 units in a form of equity, but the basic understanding of equity and its use are not known to the banker. They do not want to go for any fintech innovation. If they can take this as a fintech innovation, many more social entrepreneurs and social organizations can come forward to save thousands of jobs or crores of jobs in MSME. When unit becomes sick, he is creating a lot of intangible assets like repeat customers, customers database, workers loyalty, machineries knowledge, all these which lacks a small support and a detailed planning can help an MSME unit not to become sick. And the MSME entrepreneurs do not keep the budgeting and data management properly. Even digitization, which Government of India is pushing in a big way, they are neglecting, and that is for their own peril. So these are the things which I would like to talk about MSME, and whatever experience I have got in 39 years as an entrepreneur and 4 years in revival of sick unit, I have taken a decision to write a book which will be published in 3rd week of June 2019. And in that book, we are trying to give various scenarios, various existing scenarios, and what is the benefit of this kind of model which will encourage social entrepreneurs, various other stakeholders to come out with suitable scheme. And if our efforts can work, there are hundreds and hundreds of Desais can come all over India. And I will welcome now questions, if any. Thank you, Mr. Aditya, for asking a question. I am not able to understand what is your exact question. Yes, the focus, I think you're trying to tell that focus in between employees and the vision of the entrepreneur is not there. Yes, it is true. Many times entrepreneur himself does not make any vision statement for 5 to 10 years which should drive his growth, but he is bogged down with so many day-to-day activity where it is not possible for him to develop the vision and the mission statement. And uh, units, when about 10 or 20 workers are working, they think that this is not suitable to them and they don't apply themselves mind for that thing. Thank you, Akhila. Yes, THIC is trying to do the same thing. THIC has put the effort for last 2.5 years in the similar area, but they are trying to influence the banker where the communication between entrepreneur and a bank has broken down, understanding the law and RBI guidelines, and they are able to get some cases restructured or this thing rehabilitated, but the success rate is quite maybe success rate has yet to be proven. Hello, Mr. Nitish Kashyap. Hello. Ask questions. No? Shashank, is equity restructuring a temporary solution or a long-term solution for the firm to grow? Equity is probably a more suitable solution, and it is not a restructuring. It's something like a marriage. In any marriage, husband and wife do fight, and they have got temporary problems where elders come in. That kind of system is not existing today because entrepreneur has got lot of ego. He makes lot of stories and banker lose on faith on them. And when somebody else, third party is bringing equity, banks, like in marriage, elders come in, try to resolve the issue. Here, the social entrepreneur will come with equity. So when he will do the due diligence properly, and he will have a clear exit route which he will discuss with them. So it is not a temporary solution. It's a long-term solution for the firm to come out of the trouble. And because the equity investor has got more knowledgeable in other areas which can, and he has got a large network which he can tap in, which can help the enterprise to grow. This process of equity investment and exit may take 3 to 5 years, and the returns for an equity investor, depending on the success and the efforts, can come many times 3x to 10x in 3 to 5 years. Thank you, Aditya. The book will give a clear picture of existing scenario in India, the existing financial model of the which is existing, and it will say why this thing, because any entrepreneur, any enterprise which falls sick, first thing is he tries to cook up the books and show a rosy picture while reality is totally different. And to sustain day to day, many times he borrows from friends and relatives which may not be on the books. All these kind of things, when bank is willing to give restructuring or rehabilitation, he cannot factor in his cash flow which will create a turbulence. So I am raising a question in my blogs and many places. How many restructured accounts have seen life more than 3 years, or how many they have performed according to the dotted line which is given in this? That is what exactly, and this book will try to attract social entrepreneurs. According to me, every human who is adult is a social entrepreneur. He helps his brother, sister, close friends, relatives with expectation of some return or without expectation. Can we define him as a social entrepreneur? He does it according to his means and his thinking, which is existing from probably Chanakya's time. But it is not named as social entrepreneur. And here we will go to people like us will go to some other sick units, will try to have deep understanding of their problem. And as many times I'm trying to tell, if you are going to a station and the train is starting, you will run to catch the train. That is what is happening in MSME also. The entrepreneur is a running train, and when an investor comes, he will have to do a lot of catch up for understanding the entrepreneur's behavior. One of the problem is everybody is working for roti, kapda, and makan. Two more things are added in recent this thing is internet and entertainment, because our lifestyle is changing. Gautam, thank you. This book will be helpful to MBA graduates. They will have a 2-3 case studies which will give an idea of ground realities and will help them to avoid that pitfalls. Like as I said in earlier, the debt equity ratio is 3 to 1, and he manipulates in that 1 and either go for over invoicing or taking subsidy into an equity which does not come. So when he starts his debt equity ratio, reality will be not 3 to 1, sometimes it can be 10 to 1, which is a very harmful thing. Thank you, Manju. SME analytics, see, as any entrepreneur who has got a who has to file income tax return by statutory requirement goes to his chartered accountant and works out, but he does not know there are 52 various things which can come out. Neither chartered accountant can explain them, and they go on continue, and they don't try to make themselves understood by asking questions to chartered accountant. And if they have taken a loan, many times banker says your current ratio is not good. He does not understand what is a current ratio and how it can be improved. This is not only for current ratio. This will be what is the cost of your labor per hour. What is the cost of interest cost per hour? If you come to know of that, you will try to optimize your resources, keeping that into mind, and you will align when you started your enterprise with your passion. Many times into day-to-day problems, your vision, mission are forgotten, and the action what you take on a day-to-day basis does not necessarily correct to achieve that target. And this analysis we are doing free of cost, as they will understand the benefit. Thank you, Jayachandra. The suggestion for current MSME situation in India, First thing is, though Reserve Bank has come out with many guidelines in last 50 years for revival of sick unit, the bank does not implement in the time frame, and the officer, credit officer and the branch manager, they do not give proper information, so that sort of a checklist, so that entrepreneur has to run around between bank and his own working unit, which is very harmful, and there is no legal provision for punishing these bankers who does not take. And bankers, they work on the noting in their own file. When it goes up at a higher level, the regional manager or a sort of thing, they do not have time to go through the noting, so they trust their own people and they don't take the views of the entrepreneur. It is human. Bank is also human and entrepreneur is human. So what is writing in the file may not help uh, to resolve the issues. It will harm the cause of MSME. That is the thing which government and RBI should take care and see that some legal mechanism till August 2017, if I am not wrong, the directions circulars given by RBI are not mandatory and that cannot be challenged. And even in some cases where the SLEEK committee was existing, when the case has been filed by the entrepreneur in High Court, Reserve Bank was made to a party. Reserve Bank did not bother to send, and they have neglected RBI's High Court this thing. If our legal system works like this, where the small entrepreneur who does not have a resources will go? That is the question. Thank you, Saroni. Yes, theoretically, all small-scale industry are eligible for getting collateral-free loan up to 2 crores. The scheme was started about 15-20 years back with 25 lakhs and has gone now to 2 crores. But at a ground level, it does not happen unless you know somebody here and there. Banks don't consider to give you collateral free. That is the reason why growth of MSME and job is slowing down. Thank you, Shashank. Yes, MSME can get listed on trading platform. That is a stock exchange. There are 2 trading platforms available for all entrepreneurs. But the problem with entrepreneur is his ego comes in his way and he thinks that he will lose the control, which is not reasonably true. He can consult his chartered accountant and company secretary and decide what is beneficial, because generally to reach this platform, you must have worked for 10, 12, 15 years and reach about 15 to 20 crore turnover. And when you reach there, the intangible assets, what you have created in this time, does not reflect on your balance sheet and it is not priced. The land on which you are sitting must have appreciated, while in books it will be either constant or buildings are there, it will be depreciated. So there is a lot of valuation difference which can be encased. But the problem with this kind of industry is their own old employees. They do not permit, or they become a power center not to professionalize And when we go to listing on stock exchange, you will have to have company secretary, a chartered accountant, and various other professional advice, which the entrepreneur cannot easily create. So that is why only in 6.3 crore MSME, we have got only 600 or 700 listed companies. Thank you, Vikas. We have held 3 units. One is in defense sector, one is in uh, chain link and other things, and one is in noodles. And we have invested, and thanks to Andhra Bank, they have understood and they have permitted innovation in other two this thing. For a defense unit, we had earlier intervention by help of uh, MSME department, but here entrepreneur is sandwiched between realities and requirement. So that is many times, though we are giving him time to time guidance required to go, we are trying to get consultant from other places which can give them the sort of an opening in a out of box thinking. And generally, our revival efforts are like Ayurvedic doctor. It will take considerable long time, and it requires the entrepreneur himself to have a passion. In this noodle unit, the collaterals are 2 crores, and bank is just waiting because of this, and she is taking lot of a time to come out and execute the plan according to what we are doing. Um, Thanks, Aditya. Initiatives like Make in India, Zero Effect, Zero Defect, impact on sector of MSME. Make in India has made a considerable impact on corporate sector, because corporate sector can think long term and take action for 3 to 10 years effect, while MSME does not have that kind of either a vision or commitment, and they are basically interested to reach the target of roti, kapra, and makan. Yes, zero effect, zero defect is a very good scheme, and let's say 5 process steps. First two are free, and government, both state and central, are giving lot of subsidy. It is something like questioning in an MBA student write down A, and that helps him to understand. When he was a 3-year boy, when he started writing A, and in his MBA, the same A has got a different valuation or different perspective. That is why zero effect, zero defect scheme is very, very excellent. And I will request all my MSME friends to adapt, though government is trying, already about 21,000 units are registered. It is not only quality improvement scheme. It is asking, it is something like Gita, Bhagavad Gita. When a 3-year boy or 5-year boy understand Gita is a different perspective. A Grihastha understand is a different perspective, and when a retired person understand, it gives a different perspective. Same Bhagavad Gita has got similar, a different understanding at different stage of life. Similarly, that zero effect, zero defect scheme can also do same thing for this thing. Thank you, Mandip. Your question is, to what extent this book helps to solve the issues in revival of MSME? I would not like to comment on in a way of political this thing, but when Modi government came and started Swachh Bharat scheme, has it got any parallel with MSME? Swachh Bharat, every citizen is supposed to keep his area clean. We were not doing it. So this book will to help the entrepreneurs to understand the kind of mistakes which he can internally control, on which he has got a control and he can do it. We have got many risk factors identified for a business. We have got about 38 or 40 business risk for running the unit. I do not know how many MSMEs are aware of that. Forget about implementing it. And that this book will try to address that. The idea of this book is create more social entrepreneur focus so that more units can come out of the sickness. Thank Sravani. What is the guidance to young entrepreneur before entering to MSME's world? Don't work on your project by yourself. Don't go to chartered accountant and ask him, I need 10 lakhs loan or 1 crore loan. You prepare the project. That's the first suicidal thing. This young entrepreneur should not do it. Second advice which I can give to young entrepreneur is try to work in small scale industry for a year or two, understand the problems in live, and then start your enterprise. It will ensure at least 40% mark as you are in your exams. Thank you, Mr. Mangesh Kamath. Great initiative. Thank you. Akhila Basa. What is your expectation and support from the next central and state government? Akhila, as I said earlier, it is myself and my enterprise. If I start something thinking that this fellow will help and this fellow will help us, is a suicidal thing. Please do not start thinking that central government is giving, state government is giving this. Don't start your enterprise thinking on that. If they give, you take as a bonus. But from 69, the ecosystem developed is the project is started with the government incentive. Government, both state and central, are selfish in nature, and they have got only one consideration, that in MSME, on the average cost of 50,000, capital cost of 50,000 to 3 lakh, one job is created, while in a medium and large sector, it will require 50 lakhs to 2 crores or 3 crores, because they can employ a lot of automation and other things. They can reduce the cost. And that is why please don't start your enterprise. This government will help these. And Apna Hath Jagannath. That is the thing what you should think. Thank you, Jayachandra. What would be your opinion on emerge from NSE and BSE SMA for small enterprise? I think I answered the same question earlier. 6.3 crore MSME and this NSE emerged and BSE SME. Only 600, 700 companies listed is a shameful for the ecosystem, and as government is trying to see that this is promoted, but the procedural things are so tedious that many entrepreneurs run away. For one, losing the control. Second, the procedures to maintain, and the cost of listing varies between 5 to 9% of the raised capital, makes the entrepreneur think. They do not think in the way their own share sometimes will go to. They are creating wealth by listing, but that is what is not understood by entrepreneurs. Manju, thank you. What support should MSME seek from RBI? Again, I am saying don't depend on any central government, state government, because I am a Gujarati, and in our Gujarati, mother is called as Ba and father is called as Bapa. What does it mean? Pa is 25%. So the entrepreneur has to become work like a mother, and this government, central government, RBI, bank, other institutions